let's talk the two variations of ABC data. Now, obviously, both are used to organize information about antecedents, behaviors, and consequences, hence ABC, but procedurally, they have some differing steps. ABC narrative recording is probably the one people are most familiar with. This is the blank data sheet in which observers write a brief narrative description of what they observed, whether it was before, during, and of course after the occurrence of a specific behavior. The goal with this method is to capture all the relevant details, which is why this particular method is great for getting information on the contextual variables that surround a behavioral episode. And of course, this helps to tell a more complete story. But the downside is it can be quite subjective and include lots of inferences about the causes of behavior. ABC continuous recording. Now this one is a bit more structured. In this method, the data sheet is an ABC chart, but each column, A, B, and C, has a series of checklists for each instance of the antecedent behavior and consequence. And so the observer checks off the specific antecedent from those that are listed in the checklist in column A when they occur, and then checks off the specific behavior that occurred. And again, each checklist is a list of different potential behaviors. And the same thing for the C column. It's going to be a checklist for different consequences to choose from. Now, the observer has to check off the one that followed the behavior for the consequences and, of course, check off the correct behavior. Now, an interesting point of difference is that with ABC continuous, every occurrence of a specific antecedent is counted, meaning it's checked off on the checklist, even if the behavior does not occur following this antecedent. Now, of course, on the continuous ABC chart, we also check off every occurrence of the behavior as well as any consequences that follow each instance of the behavior. In the narrative method, the antecedent column is only filled out when a specific behavior occurs and is recorded. Now, the other difference is that continuous observation is conducted during a specified observation period, time interval, versus ABC narrative. Now, that can also be collected in a specific observation period or interval, but it can also be used more loosely to capture instances of behavior at random times. ABC continuous is a more objective method because it does not allow for interpretation. It's also slightly easier because instead of writing out a complete narrative for each A, B, and C, the observer is just tasked with checking boxes. So the takeaway, ABC narrative is just that. It's an observer's narration of what they observed. And ABC continuous, this is a checklist where observers check off observed antecedents, behaviors, and consequences. Hope that helps.